So let me now turn to Steve Sherrill for his What Do You Want to Talk About? And this has turned out to be one of the great segments of our shows. So, Steve, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about that storm that was at Steve's house, and I came across town. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even see, coming down in buckets. So, tonight I want to talk about an opportunity. This opportunity every model railroader faces. I'm sure that at one time or another, you've all had to make a decision about, am I going to change scales? Am I going to change gauges? Well, I've come to a decision that I'm going to do some ON18. That's O scale running on N scale track. So I hope to take you through my adventures in this scale. I've already built a layout on a bookshelf. Now, ON18 is kind of unique, and in fact, it's all freelance. There's no prototype that I know of. And with the 3D printing guys out here, they're making all these nice little attractive engines, and it's very appealing. And so I said, well, I'll get an engine and I'll go through the motions. And so I did. And it's a unique experience to, go from ON30 to ON18. I'm sure that everyone who's watching has gone through this kind of a change. Now, why did I do it? Well, it's an opportunity for something new. I also think that this ON18 is what ON30 was when it came to existence about 1999. I think that this is where we're going to get new modelers. It's an inexpensive entry into model railroading. It's running on N-scale track. It doesn't take up much room. You can build to your heart's content. You'll have to do everything that you do in other scales, except you can use 4-inch radius curves. That's right, 4-inch radius. So the bookshelf layout that I have built so even surprised me that you could get something to go around a 4-inch radius curve, and it gives you an opportunity to create things. I've created my own coupler system. I'm waiting for cars to be 3D printed so I can use those. And I'm just having a lot of fun with this. And so I hope to take you all along as I've taken pictures during the construction. Next week, I will be able to show you some of the items that I have built and maybe introduce you to some of the ON18 cars. Now, these are not Craftsman kits by any stretch of the imagination. They're just fun things to build and play with. I'm sure that, like I said before, all of you probably are not in the same scale or gauge that you were in originally. So if I ask you, hey, what scale did you start out in? You'd probably say HO, but now I'm in ON3. Or I was in N scale, now I'm in HO. Or HO, now I'm in ON30. This is just a natural trend, I believe, that we always want to try something new. Now, this little layout is only 9 inches wide, and it's 27 inches long, because that's the bookshelf that my wife had hidden. I got it. She didn't know I got that bookshelf. So, with that said, I've used all the scenery techniques that I've used on my big layout. And you've seen some of the micro layouts that I've built already. I've shared them with you and showed them pictures and stuff like this. This ON18 layout will be on display at timonium at the new tracks scholarship table. So I will be showing that if you're in the area and want to see it. Now, it's unique in another way that it's going to be battery powered and have sound. Now, that doesn't mean the battery is going to be in the engines. It's just going to be battery powered. Now, I hooked the battery to the layout today, and it ran on over 6 hours. In fact, it's still running. I cut the grass, it came back, it's still running. I had lunch, it's still running. So batteries will run these layouts forever. So I would just, is there any questions on any of this stuff? Because when you see this, you're going to say, wow, this is really neat little stuff. I will say this, if you go on YouTube and look up Thunder Mesa Studios, that's Dave Meek, he has a section where he shows 0-18 locomotives that he has built for his railroad. None of mine are like his. But it's an introduction that shows you what you can do. The 3D printing that is being produced is just outstanding. The quality is wonderful. The prices are very reasonable. And it's an excellent way to get started in another scale and gauge. So that's about all I have tonight. Is there any questions?
Are the batteries rechargeable, Steve?
Sure.
Okay.
Now, you have to follow along with the layout, Bill, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right. And I probably could make each individual battery powered, but it's no sense in it. The layouts are so small that, you know, you only have 2 wires hooking everything up, believe it or not. You know, and they run on 4-inch radius. You cannot believe how sharp 4-inch radius is. It's unbelievable. I'm just fascinated with this stuff. And it doesn't look too bad. You know, it's a pretty decent railroad. But I think that when people see it, they'll be able to say, hey, I could build one like that. Well, I'll start out with this, and then maybe I'll go to something else. It's not a layout that you're going to have a 24 by 32. I mean, it's just so small, you'd be silly to do that. If you had something a 4x8, 4x6, or a shelf layout, it's a perfect shelf layout. Run along a wall. Broad curves in this are 15 to 18 inches. That's a broad curve. So most of the curves are down in the 4 and 6 inch radius. I'm also going to build a holiday layout on a cutting board that I'm going to give to my daughter for Christmas. She doesn't know it yet, so don't tell her. Because she's a big decorator. And so I'm going to do that for her. And that's going to have a 6-inch radius. So next week, I'll be able to show you some of the products. And maybe you'll be interested. Maybe we can start a build sometime in the future here. If Jim can get it scheduled. So are there any more questions? Because I tell you, this stuff is really, if you have a layout in the basement that you can't get there anymore, you can build one of these and have it right on the coffee table, you know? And when you're done with it, you put it up in the bookshelf. You're still running trains and having fun, and you can take it to somebody's house that maybe is ill, and they can enjoy it. You can take it to a train show. The one that I'm building is going to be self-contained, and we don't have to have any electric hookup. It's all going to be a battery controlled, and so you won't have to get where there's an outlet.
Well, I know how I build my trolley radius at 9 inches for O scale. How in the world do you build a 4-inch radius?
Well, you just keep bending that track until it just almost breaks. No. The whole layout is only 3 sections of 30-inch track. All right. And that includes the siding. but I just bent the track around and got it. I used a cork road bed, and I did a little work on setting up the radius, but it's on a 4-inch radius. I actually had clearance on a 9-inch. I had enough room on the sides that the train would run around. It's got like an inch or so on each side. So it's it's not bad. Looks pretty decent. I showed you.
I can't wait to see you build this. I'll get it scheduled because I want to see you build
Well, I may have 2 built by then.
this. Anybody have any more questions for Steve? Steve, thank you so very much. And like I say, I'm really looking forward to seeing you build this because this really sounds interesting. It's something that we haven't done on the show before.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too. I got to take a lot of pictures of the products I used, the stuff that I had, and some of it was 40-year-old products. I don't even know if they make it anymore. I'll have to find out. But yes, it's very, very cheap to build, very inexpensive.
Well, thank you so very much for telling us about it, and look forward to seeing you build this on the show.
Okay,